Hey everyone. So we're in our Unit 3 pre-topic B. We're solving our equations here. Um, Again, one of those kind of lessons where, like I said, throughout the year, I'm always going to be like, hey, as long as you show what you're doing, it's fine. But solving equations, it's like learning the alphabet. You can't just be like, I really want to start with the letter K. Then I'll start with the A, and then we'll do the B. But then I'll switch the D around with the C. Yeah, no. We all have to speak the same language. So yeah, we really got to make sure when we're showing our work, all right, that we are showing it one particular way. You just can't choose how to spell your own words. Again, starting off in elementary school, it's okay, but we need to get a point. So anyway, let's jump into it here. If you haven't watched notes on the Unit 3, all right, it would be the notes would say two-step equations. We don't have a number with it because it is a pre-topic. Technically, it's not part of the unit that's here. So we went through, all right, we took care of the units, the one-step equations with the one that's there. We said you could skip the one-step equations that have the number 2 that's there. So let's get into our two-step equations that we're looking at. Okay, so things that we ended up seeing in your notes. And if you are looking at your notes, you would see that step number 1 is always to undo addition or subtraction. And again, the idea behind this is we're trying to undo things. So when we undo things, we got to go in the opposite order. So order of operations normally says to multiply by first. Because we're going in the opposite order because we're trying to undo, we'll always undo the addition or subtraction. We'll also always start on the side of the variable, which is what we've been doing. So when I look at problem number 1, I can see that variable's on the left-hand side. There's that x. Wave hello. All right. So the opposite of adding an 8 is to subtract an 8. So we do need to subtract 8 from both sides. All right. And then we're going to bring down what we have left. So we've talked about this whole inverse properties and their opposites. Again, one of the few times in math we're like, listen, you don't need to write it down, just it's gone. Again, because they're opposites. It'll always happen, and that's why we're okay with it. If you visually like to cross them out, because again, the positive 8, the negative 8, combine them, you get 0, the opposites, the inverses. All you have is a negative 4x. Again, there's no need to cross them out, but if visually that helps you, by all means. 28 minus 8, all right, hello, 20. Now we'll undo any multiplication or division. So again, we're on the side of the letter. The opposite of multiplying by a negative 4 is to divide by a negative 4. Remember, we're using that fraction bar for our division. X equals negative 5. Now, our check steps here. Again, we do want to show you what we've got going on here. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, we do want to look at the check step just to kind of make sure. I know they're not asking you to do it, but I want you to be aware of it. The idea is when you plug it in, if we plug into the very beginning, it would be a negative 4, all right, times the negative 5. Because again, they're right up against it. And then plus 8. And we want to know, hey, does that really give me 28? Well, negative 4 times a negative 5, that's a 20. So is 20 plus 8 really equal to 28? It is. So again, I know I've got a winning answer. All right, so to justify using words, what we want to make sure we're doing is we're speaking the language. And again, it's not a my thing. It's kind of how we talk about solving equations that are here. So what we're looking at here is what did you do? All right. So the first thing that we did is we ended up subtracting 8 both sides. And this is a key phrase there of both sides. You say what you did, and we're saying it to both sides. And then we ended up divide, all right, negative 4, again, both sides. Again, we want you speaking the language. We do want you to get used to doing that, all right? Back up and let's see who else we want to take care of. Yeah, let's go to the second one that's here. Again, we're going to start on the same side. We are going to start where that variable is at, so it is on the left-hand side. Opposite of adding 8, just like before, we are going to be subtract. You know what? This one's too similar. Let's go down and find something a little bit different. Here we go. Oh, question 5. There we go. There we go. All right. So question number 5 here. Starting on the side with the variable. In this case, we're on the right-hand side. There's my x on that right-hand side. So undo any addition or subtraction. We are subtracting by a 12, so we are going to add a 12 to both sides. Remember, that equal sign is kind of like that separation between the left side and that right side. So bye-bye, opposites, no more. All I have is an x dividing it by 5. On the other side, negative 23 plus 12. Okay, different signs, negative and positive. So we're going to subtract, which means it is 11. And I keep what we have more of. We got more negatives, so negative 11. Again, on the side with the letter, so I'm on that right-hand side. To undo dividing by 5, we need to multiply by 5. Remember, we are going to wrap it in parentheses and put it off to the side. We're not putting it in the denominator. Either it's up in the numerator or it's off to the side. And again, the reason why off to the side is if you make it into a fraction. All right, now you can see that that 5 is exactly upstairs. So if I multiply one side by 5, I got to multiply the other side by 5. Remember, opposite operations. I could do the whole cross division here. Hey, we don't need to because we know what's going to happen. We're just 5 times negative 11. So here they're asking for me the check step, and that's what we did up there. So we want to, again, see it here. We're going to plug it on in. I've got a negative 23. And here we go. Negative 23 equals negative 55 divided by 5 minus 12. Remember, all I'm doing is plugging it in. I'm just coming up here to this original problem, and I'm plugging in what I solved for x to be. So let's see here. Negative 55 divided by 5 is negative 11. So is negative 11 minus 12, is that really negative 23? It is. Same signs, add and keep the signs. Okay, so here's what we like out of you today. Let's get back up to there we go. So I do want you to justify using words for those two guys, just like it says. I do want you to do your check step for those two other ones, just like it asked. For the remaining pagettes here, you do not need to justify using words, and you do not need to do your check step. Over here for 28 and 29, you are writing a division equation. So like we saw before, what a division equation looks like, a division equation has a fraction bar in it. And again, the solution is 8, which means at the very end, your answer is going to be 8. Cannot use a 1 or a 0 in there. All right, can't set the original equation equal to 8. In problem number 29, a multiplication equation, which means you're going to have a number up against a letter. All right, the solution here, all right, also is going to be 8. So you do need your answer to be 8 at the very end. What I do want here is, I know it just says write a division equation. See if you can get me a 2-step equation down. All right, just like that's what you were working on there. So right here, a multiplication equation. Again, let's get a 2-step multiplication equation in there. Try those guys out. Let's see if there's anything else we need to be aware of. Oh, this is a good one here, just to make sure. Again, you can see how they're showing their work with their division. Again, we don't use that division sign. We use that fraction bar. So just keep that in mind. It's okay. We do also want to understand people when they're not talking in the correct language. So again, something to be a little bit aware of. And then, yeah, hey, that's later on. So, okay, classwork. At the end of the week, all the classwork is going to be due that we've assigned. We will not see a full-out quiz with this, but you will be turning in all the classwork. So you do want to make sure that you're getting that handled. And I will be looking for, hey, did you show to both sides? I'm sorry, did you show to both sides? All right, from that standpoint. Check in with me if you've got questions or concerns. Thanks.